that are staying in the same room with 5 other people, and that cannot happen. So the isolation is critical, and this is where the education at the community level becomes very important, because that's the only way we can contain it.
So should there be smaller ETCs? Because I understand isolating the person, but if you isolate the person without treatment, the person's just going to sit there and die. So, and then you said that the ETCs are maybe in inappropriate places, or maybe they're not needed. But in the places where they're not needed, then what happens to the person?
That's a very valid question. There's community care centers that are being established, which are like mini Ebola treatment centers. And the idea is those patients will be taken there. They'll be isolated. They'll be cared for until a test is done. Then they're
okay.
So there'll be the important things for them to be taken out of their home. And I would just like to add one thing as well that you mentioned initially about the U.S. government and the ETCs. In our discussion with the U.S. military as well as with the USAID about the need for Ebola treatment units and where they should be, we've seen that they've been extremely flexible and receptive. So if we tell them, hey, there's no need for us to staff this one, let's move it there, they've been extremely responsive to recommendations, and I would like to commend them for that.
Okay, and Mr. Sedgewick, you might want to respond, but I wanted to ask you a series of questions around cultural practices, but go ahead and respond.
Yeah, I'd like to catch up a little bit and I'd like to reiterate that flexibility on both the designation of where the ETUs are, and in general that flexibility that in particular the USA